Nation.
SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first. Then you act.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation. It's now time for the State of Michigan State University Athletics. And to have that conversation each and every week, we bring in Spartan Nation senior writer, the great Johnny Shop. Johnny, how are you?
The page turns a little bit once you get past that Memorial Day holiday. All of a sudden, everybody knows. They see on the Instagram, they see on the social media that we're under 100 days until things get kicking off. So to be honest with you, I spent a small time contemplating, small time peeking back at statistics over the weekend, small time wondering what Spartan football is going to do to get way, way off the mat. When you look at those numbers, you look at the rushing offense, when you look at some of the numbers, they are astonishing. What are they doing now to make sure that does not happen again? So this is a little bit of a change of a season when you get under 100 days. It's just magic when you go from 3 digits to 2. And I expect it to, as far as around the football building, they need to be feeling that at this time.
John, be more specific for the fans that are listening and haven't heard you before as our show is really growing. What do you mean when you say they should be feeling it? What should they be feeling? Should they be feeling the excitement? Should they be feeling the pressure? What do you think?
I think they should be feeling a little bit of both, to be honest with you. Number one, I hope by this point in time, reality has sunk in, because one of the problems that Michigan State football had last year was a failure to accept reality when reality was staring them in the face. I do hope that each guy who is going to be a contributor, and I figure that's at least the people that are going to be contributing for the 1, 2, and 3 spots on the roster at each position, really understand what happened last year and how far the standard fell and how far this thing has slipped and slid for years now, for 3 or 4 years on the offense, especially relative to the ground game. I hope that they look at what it is that needs to be done. And at this point, I don't think it's accelerating to say they probably need to have a better understanding of what needs to be done to be more effective as an offense and as a running unit. So I hope that each guy would be able to acknowledge that as well. And I do hope that they would be excited somewhat, because I tell people, and I've had people who are knowledgeable college football folks from other programs say, the funny thing is Michigan State's got talent in the backfield. It looks like they got a couple guys that could run in the NFL, possibly. And it's true. You look at the physical stature and makeup of Hayward and of Jefferson at least. So the ironic thing is that there is an opportunity for success. There do appear to be pieces talent-wise and skill-wise that can have that success. But they can't run the ball on their own, as we know. We know the base problem and the key of it is how much better the offensive line can perform. And with less than 100 days to go, everything's starting to count a little bit more. So I hope that they feel a combination of some pressure and also some excitement that redemption is actually out there. And nobody's looking for it either, by the way. Nobody's out there banking on Michigan State anymore. You're not going to see that this summer. You're not going to see people say, oh, don't worry about Michigan State. They're going to be just fine. Mark D'Antonio, they're going to be just fine. Bounce back again. They're not. They're betting against this happening this time. So maybe that would be what needs to get this chip a little bit sharper this year so they can come out, win the games they're supposed to win, compete for the East. And if they can do that, I think a lot of good things can still happen.
John, this is a team that is going to have a world-class defense. Yes. And it's a team that if they can make any type of an offensive adjustment, I mean any type of an offensive adjustment, they should be able to walk to 10 wins. Just because that defense.
And that's good. Yeah, and this let's not also sleep. And I know you're not sleeping on this. Special teams is gonna be close to special this year. As competent as they've turned the corner, I think this is the year they actually can take a step and be better. They can be better than average in the Big Ten. I think they can be good. They've got some foot power. They got some foot skill. They've got some guys back playing better players playing in special teams. I think special teams can do something. When you talk about those adjustments, it's really all we're talking about. And it's sad that, people saw it as soon as the Indiana game when you got Glenn Mason on TV talking about one of his old coaches, hey, just make this change, Mark, to do something here. Make this change to this team to help this season. Doesn't happen. The whole season goes down. Now we've got an off season. There's going to be some offensive adjustments. There's got to be. So again, we're not trying to sell sunshine here, but there is an opportunity for things to look a whole lot better than they did. And that is the key. That's what everyone's going to be looking for. And I'm looking at the calendar this weekend. Hondo, looking at it this weekend. Arizona State, Northwestern. Let's see what happens in those two games. After that Northwestern game, boy, oh boy, will we have a feel for what's going on with this team.
Good call there. Johnny Shop's with us. Johnny, you just said, you talked about after the Northwestern game, we'll kind of get a feel or whatever. I've got another question for you. Mark D'Antonio has a well-deserved several million-dollar bonus coming at the end of the season. There's a lot of wonder within the university. If this is his last year, I did a story just a few weeks ago where I talked with multiple, I believe it was close to 20 administrators from athletics and from the regular administration, and that all, how long do you think he's here? No one went more than 2 years. Players are telling us in recruiting that, and I'm not asking, I don't think that's my place to ask a recruit, but they're like, hey, I know, I had one kid tell me, oh yeah, if I commit to Michigan State, coach is going to be there. That's important to me. I didn't say anything because that's not my spot. But I know it's being used against them in recruiting. Do you think Mark D'Antonio should come out and address it or ignore it?
Well, that's a good question because, Steve Spurrier seemed to handle that pretty well at his later time at South Carolina. And I'm not just talking about coloring his hair and working out for 90 minutes a day, which was insane. I mean, golly, look at Spurrier still ripped up. It's crazy. I do think there's probably a way to address it. The impression I get from watching Mark D'Antonio from a close and afar is that at 63 years old, having seen some of the pitfalls of guys that have come before him at a similar age and having seen a few pieces of success, I wonder if he is confident that he could run a program as a CEO pretty well. Now, we are watching the reboot of Mack Brown, and Mack Brown is one of those guys that crashed and burned, unfortunately, in that role, where he basically took his hands off. Is this going to work with him rebooting at North Carolina? I don't know. Les Miles, the hat himself, is gone to Kansas. Is he going to be a CEO coach at Kansas, or is he going to get back in the dirt a little bit? I don't know. So I get a little bit leery of any coach that considers himself, I think I can run this CEO style thing pretty good and keep coaching. Mark Richt has been compared to Mark D'Antonio for 10 plus years on this show for good reason. Did not end well for Mark Richt as he just basically retired. So I see a confidence in D'Antonio that he may be able to do a CEO type thing, and I worry because that has just not been very successful. D'Antonio's got some great colleagues and friends. Head coach at Washington, Chris Peterson. Head coach at Clemson, Dabo Swinney. Are those guys CEO guys, Hondo? Are they guys that are going to go 100% foot to the floor, and then when they're done coaching, they're done coaching? I worry that D'Antonio isn't sure what he wants to do, but I would encourage him to figure it out. And either way is probably going to be fine, but it looks like you got to go one gear or the other. I don't think you can go both. If D'Antonio's dabbled in a little bit of a more laid-off CEO type coaching role in the past, he's done it with great conflict as we've seen the struggles of the offense and who's directing the offense and who's picking the quarterback. So I would hope to get that straight first and then go with it either way. At some point in time, a major college football coach is going to say, listen, Jimmy and Joe that I'm recruiting, I'm going to coach this much longer, and that's pretty much going to be it. And after that, here's what I think could happen, or here's what might happen. You can either roll with us or not. And at some point, somebody's going to do that the right way, and they're going to be able to have success with it. I don't think we've seen it quite yet, but I will predict to you that we're going to see it in the next 5 to 10 years, that transitions are going to be managed better, and you're not going to see people jumping ship because they say, well, this coach is probably not going to be there when I finish my career.
Great call. He is Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Shop. Know him, love him, appreciate him. We'll be back.